I have heard that Cameron thought all women were nothing but gold diggers. You must be something special if you've changed his mind.
Thank you.
Did you know about the woman in his life from a few years ago?
Brenda didn't answer. Instead, she looked at him wondering if he was trying to drive a wedge between her and Cameron.
At first, I found it strange that he had a fiancée. But when I looked at you, I understood why he changed his mind.
Are you going to say I look like that woman?
How did you know?
Because I know you and your cheap tricks. Now let me go. Robert finally let go of Brenda, but not without having the last word.
Her name is Brennan. She looks exactly like you. Especially her eyes.
If you're trying to destroy my relationship with Cameron, don't bother. If I have any questions, I can ask him myself. Brenda got into her cab and left. Robert watched the cab drive off speechlessly. Brenda walked along the corridor to Cameron's room, full of apprehension. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't shake Robert's words from her mind. She walked into his room to find him sitting up in bed, on his laptop, engrossed in his work. You shouldn't be working. It would be best if you were resting.
It was just some small matters I had to deal with. It's not as if I've got anything better to do while I'm here.
Have you eaten? I've brought you some vegetable soup and fruit. I hear it's the best thing for stomach problems. Is it okay?
Delicious.
I'm glad. Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Do you think my face is ordinary?
Quite. Why do you ask?
I saw Robert today. I didn't want to, but he blocked my path and I couldn't move. He said some strange things to me. He said I looked like someone he knew, especially in my eyes. Do you know what he means?
Did he say who?
He said I look like a woman who used to be very close to you, and since then you haven't let any other woman come close to you. Do you know who he's talking about?
No.
Are you sure? Look carefully. Brenda held his hand and moved closer to him. She was convinced he was lying. Cameron felt a familiar heat rising in his body. He put his hand on her head and pulled her towards him.
Your eyes don't look anything like hers.
All right.
You should stay away from Robert Zimmer in the future.
Okay, I will. Brenda had realized how close she had gotten to him. She got up and went to wash the empty bowls. Hello, I wasn't expecting to see you here.
Hello. I wasn't expecting to see you either.
Well, you know, someone needs to take care of him.
I knew I could count on you.
Richard was pleased to see his arrangement finally working.
How do you feel, Cameron?
Cameron had completely ignored his father, and Brenda had never seen a man so disrespectful of his own father. The doctor is pleased. She thinks he'll only need to be here for another day, and then he can go home.
Thank you, Brenda.
If Cameron hadn't been his son, and if members of his staff hadn't been in the room, Richard would have given him a piece of his mind. But family loyalty demanded that he keep quiet in front of his employees. He then tried a different approach. Instead of asking questions, he began lecturing him on diet and exercise. Cameron wasn't interested in listening to him.
Brenda.
What's wrong?
Help me to the bathroom.
Brenda looked at him, embarrassment washing over her. She remembered the last time she had seen him in the bathroom, and she wasn't sure she was ready to go through all that again while her father-in-law was in the next room. She tried to think of an excuse not to help him, but couldn't think of anything. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. You're just looking for an excuse not to listen to your father. I know your little tricks. Richard had had enough by the time Cameron had gotten back into bed. He stood up to leave. Let me see you out.
Bree, it's been hard on you these past 2 days. You have to work hard all day, and your reward is spending your evenings with his bad mood.
It's not that hard. I actually don't mind.
Ha! I can see that. His attitude is softening toward you. Also, it seems you don't hate him anymore.
Richard.
All right, I won't tease you anymore.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Why did you choose me when you were looking for a wife for Cameron?
Why do you suddenly want to know?
I was just curious. There are so many socialites and daughters from prestigious families, but I've come from nowhere. Is it because I look like Brennan? Brenda was sharp, and she was checking to see if Richard would give a reaction to the name. Even if he knew Brennan, he managed to hide it beautifully.
I picked you because I took a fancy to your face. I'm not boasting, but my son is the best-looking man in the city, so he had to have a wife who was just as beautiful.
Brenda tried to suppress a smile. It turned out that beauty was more important than wealth in his world. Either that or he wasn't telling the truth. She decided there wasn't any point in pressing him further.
Goodbye, Brenda.
Did he make things difficult for you?
No, not at all. Brenda walked over and sat next to him. She stared at Cameron and had to admit that what Richard said about him was true. She found him unbelievably handsome.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Brenda jumped. She hadn't realized that she had been staring. Am I?
Yes, you are. And it's distracting me from my work.
His words had no effect. She kept staring at him, and it was beginning to annoy him. Had it been anyone else, he would have asked them to leave, but he was powerless to do that with her. When she looked at him, he could only think about their time at the hotel. The memories made his head spin. Linda and a man were intertwined on a hotel room bed. The man got out of bed first to get changed. Linda opened to check her phone.
Oh, yes! Rekindled Heartache is about to be released on YouTube. I am so excited. Fritz, don't forget the promise you made to help me.
Don't worry, I haven't forgotten.
You're the best.
Linda moved closer and kissed his face.
Linda, you said you wanted her sent overseas, but didn't say where.
I have thought about it. I want you to send her to Thailand. I bet she'll have a great time there.
You're poisonous, Linda. All right, Thailand it is.
Linda smiled. She was determined to get revenge on the woman who had caused her so much trouble. She was ready to take down Brenda. That evening, as Brenda was leaving the office, she received a call from Jenny. Another blind date had gone sour, and she needed a friend to listen while she vented her frustrations.
How I resisted throwing my salad at that man's head. It was a terrible date.
I'm sorry to hear that, Jenny.
We are going for dinner tonight.
Sure, I have just left the office. Where do you want to go?
Anywhere where I don't feel like throwing a salad on your head. How dare you laugh at my predicament, Miss Strong?
You're right, and I'm sorry. It'll be my treat.
Great. Where should we go? Brenda?
Jenny didn't get an answer. Just then, a van pulled up behind Brenda, and two men dressed in black grabbed her from behind. They bundled Brenda into the car before she could react, and her phone fell.
Bree, are you okay? Hello, Brenda? If this is some joke, it's not funny. Answer me.
At home, Jenny jumped from her couch. She thought something terrible had happened to Brenda. She grabbed her purse.
Jenny, where are you going in such a rush?
Mom, I think something has happened to Brenda. I'll explain everything later.
Who kidnapped Brenda, and where are they taking her? Will they harm her, or will Jenny be able to save her in time? What will happen once Cameron finds out?
Hi, Brenda here. Hope you are loving Love Bargain. Keep following us as we release a new episode of Season 1 daily on YouTube. You can jump the queue and unlock all seasons of the audio series by installing the Pocket FM app now. Just click on the link in the description. To watch the next episode of Season 1, tap here, and to watch the full Season 1, click on the playlist.